The breaking point didn't arrive with raised voices or shattered objects. It arrived on a random Tuesday, folded into the middle of an ordinary day. There was no build-up I could point to, no dramatic warning that this would be the moment everything collapsed. He said he was unhappy. The words were simple, almost careful. He said he needed space. He said he felt trapped. Each sentence landed separately, like stones dropped into still water, ripples spreading slowly but relentlessly through everything I believed was solid. I remember nodding as if I understood, even though my mind couldn't keep up. My body was present, but my sense of reality was slipping. I listened the way you listen to bad news in a hospital hallway, detached and stunned, waiting for someone to say they made a mistake. I wanted to argue, to defend us, to remind him of everything we had built, but my voice didn't come. Shock wrapped around me, heavy and numbing, as my entire sense of safety quietly collapsed from the inside out. He spoke as if this decision had already been made, as if he was informing me, not inviting me into a conversation. That hurt more than the words themselves. I wasn't part of the decision about the end of my own marriage. When he left, he packed efficiently, not angrily, not dramatically, just practically. Watching him move through the house felt surreal, like watching someone dismantle a life that had taken years to build. He took more than his clothes and personal items. He took the future I had imagined so vividly, the shared routines, the plans I hadn't yet voiced, the version of myself I thought I would grow into beside him. After the door closed, the house felt unfamiliar, too large, too quiet. Every room carried echoes of conversations that would never happen again. I walked through it slowly, as if mapping unfamiliar territory. The first nights were the hardest. Sleep refused to come. My mind replayed everything endlessly, searching for a moment where I could have changed the outcome. Silence pressed in from all sides, making every thought louder. Financial fear followed quickly. Questions I had never needed to ask before suddenly became urgent. How would I manage alone? What had I sacrificed that I now needed back? Independence felt daunting after years of shared responsibility. Family members responded in ways that surprised me. Some offered support wrapped in concern. Others offered advice that felt like quiet judgment. Questions disguised as care. Suggestions that meant well but landed heavily. Friends reacted differently too. A few disappeared, unsure of how to handle grief that didn't fit into neat explanations. Their silence hurt, but I learned not to chase it. Everyone has limits, and this was beyond some of theirs. Others stayed. They didn't offer solutions. They brought food, sat with me, listened without rushing me toward optimism. Their presence became a lifeline, reminding me that not everything had left. I questioned myself constantly, my worth, my choices, my ability to judge character. I wondered if I had been foolish, blind, naive. Self-blame crept in quietly, convincing me I must have failed. Identity felt slippery. I didn't know who I was without the role I had built my life around. Wife, partner. The words vanished overnight, leaving an unsettling emptiness behind. Mornings were especially hard. Waking up meant remembering all over again. For a brief second, I would forget. Then reality would rush back in, heavy and unavoidable. Grief didn't move in a straight line. Some days I felt functional, almost normal. Other days I couldn't stop crying over small things. A song, a familiar place, an empty chair. Anger surfaced later, surprising me with its intensity. Anger at him for leaving quietly. Anger at myself for staying so long. Anger at the world for teaching me endurance instead of boundaries. I learned that heartbreak isn't just emotional, it's physical. Tight chest, heavy limbs, exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. My body carried the loss as much as my mind did. Slowly, in the middle of that wreckage, something unexpected began to happen. In the quiet, I started to hear my own thoughts again, not filtered through what he might think, not adjusted for harmony. I noticed how clear my inner voice sounded when I wasn't constantly managing someone else's emotions. It surprised me. I hadn't realized how long it had been muted. I started making small decisions without consulting anyone. What to eat, when to rest, where to go. They seemed insignificant, but each one rebuilt a piece of autonomy I didn't know I had lost. I revisited old interests cautiously, unsure if they still belonged to me. Some didn't. Others felt like meeting old friends who had been waiting patiently for my return. There were moments of fear, too. Loneliness didn't disappear overnight. Neither did doubt. But something had shifted. I was no longer disappearing to keep something else alive. Therapy helped me put words to experiences I had normalized for years. Emotional neglect, unequal labor, self-abandonment. Naming them didn't erase the pain, but it gave it shape. I began to understand that the breaking point wasn't just the day he left. It was the accumulation of days I stayed quiet, days I minimized myself, days I survived instead of lived. Grief and relief existed side by side, confusing but honest. I missed what we had been. I didn't miss who I had become inside it. Some nights were still heavy, but they were quieter in a different way. Not empty, reflective. I started writing again, not to cope, but to understand. I stopped rushing myself to heal. I let sadness come and go without judging it. Healing wasn't linear, and I learned to respect its rhythm. The woman I was before the marriage didn't fully return, but a stronger, clearer version of her began to emerge. One who trusted her instincts more than appearances. I realized that losing him forced me to confront myself, and while that confrontation was painful, it was also honest. I couldn't hide anymore. The fallout reshaped me. It stripped away illusions. It exposed fears, but it also revealed resilience I hadn't known how to access before. I didn't choose this ending, but somewhere along the way, I chose myself. And in that choice, I found a strength that hadn't disappeared. It had just been waiting for silence to finally hear it speak.